Kalen had always been a quiet student, the kind who lingered at the edges of classrooms, scribbling notes and asking questions no one else thought of. On the peaceful planet of Lysera, where the university's spires gleamed under twin suns, he lived a life of careful routines. He studied engineering, ancient history, and the principles of human strategy, often imagining how these skills could one day solve real problems beyond textbooks. Little did he know, he would soon face a challenge that no class could prepare him for. It began with a whisper. The halls of the university buzzed with rumors about Princess Arya of the Galactic Kingdom. She had been kidnapped by Zerak, a warlord who had conquered worlds with brute force and terror. Entire armies had attempted to rescue her, only to fail. People spoke in hushed tones about the danger and impossibility of the task. Most students dismissed it as gossip, but Kalen could not ignore the sense of urgency in the air. As night fell, Kalen studied maps of the star systems, ancient texts on alien fortresses, and the stories of human heroes who had achieved the impossible. He realized that brute strength alone would never succeed. To save Arya, he would need intelligence, creativity, and courage. The thought of a human student, a single untrained human, rescuing a princess might have seemed ridiculous to anyone else. But Kalen had always believed that humans, underestimated by the galaxy, had an unmatched capacity for problem-solving. By dawn, he had made his decision. He would go. He gathered what he could, a compact jetpack, basic tools, and devices of his own design. Each was crafted with careful thought, simple but effective, embodying the principles he had studied for years. Kalen did not have soldiers or allies, only his mind and his human ingenuity. As he boarded the shuttle to the outer system, a sense of both fear and excitement filled him. He felt alive in a way he never had while sitting in lecture halls. The journey to Zerak's territory was treacherous. Meteors streaked past the shuttle, and the navigation system beeped with warnings of electromagnetic interference. Yet Kalen remained calm, recalling lessons about trajectories and gravitational fields. Using manual adjustments and clever calculations, he guided the shuttle through the dangers, a small human navigating the vast void with nothing but thought and skill. When he reached the outskirts of Zerak's fortress planet, Kalen studied it from orbit. The structure was enormous, a jagged sprawl of towers and walls, constantly patrolled by alien drones. Military satellites orbited the planet, scanning for intruders. He knew that a frontal assault was impossible. Instead, he observed patterns in the patrols, noting moments of vulnerability, and planned his approach with patience. The first stage of infiltration required stealth. Kalen used a cloaking device of his own design, inspired by the way some humans had used misdirection in ancient warfare. He slipped past drones and security cameras, moving silently across the alien terrain. Inside the fortress, he encountered the first of many obstacles, doors that responded only to Zerak's unique biometrics. Kalen studied the lock mechanisms and improvised, using small tools to manipulate circuits and override the security. Each success gave him confidence. He moved deeper into the fortress, encountering alien guards with advanced weaponry. He did not fight, he outsmarted them. He used shadows, reflections, and the alien architecture to stay unseen. Sometimes he created small distractions, a light flare here, a falling object there, all designed to make the guards move away from his path. Kalen was like a ghost, an invisible human threading through the fortress, using brains where others would rely on brawn. Finally, he reached the wing where Princess Arya was held. The room was heavily guarded with energy barriers and watchful sentries. Kalen paused outside, taking in the scene. He noted the timing of the sentries' patrols, the placement of the barriers, and the patterns in their shifts. Then, with precise timing, he moved. He disabled the barriers using a simple device that emitted a frequency the security system misinterpreted as a malfunction. The guards, distracted by the false alarms, moved away, leaving the princess's cell unguarded for a brief window. Kalen slipped inside, holding his breath, and found Arya. She was calm but alert, her eyes sharp with intelligence. "Who are you?" she asked quietly. "I'm Kalen," he replied, keeping his voice steady. "I'm here to get you out." The fortress was a labyrinth, but his planning allowed them to navigate without alerting Zerak's forces. Along the way, Arya saw the clever devices and traps Kalen had devised, each one simple in design but brilliantly effective. She began to understand that this human, small and underestimated, had achieved what countless warriors had failed to do. As they approached the perimeter of the fortress, they encountered the final obstacle, Zarak himself. The warlord was massive, clad in armor that shimmered with alien technology. He roared as he saw them, swinging a weapon that could easily obliterate a human. Kalen froze for a moment, knowing that a direct fight would be suicide. But then he remembered something crucial. Zarak relied on brute strength and intimidation, but Kalen had strategy. He lured Zarak into a narrow corridor where the warlord's size became a disadvantage. Using a combination of mirrors, light, and sound, Kalen disoriented Zarak, causing the alien to stumble. Then, with a simple mechanism, Kalen triggered a trap that pinned Zarak momentarily. The warlord's rage was palpable, but Kalen and Arya slipped past, sprinting toward the shuttle Kalen had hidden nearby. They took off just as the fortress alarms blared. Drones pursued them, firing energy blasts, but Kalen's shuttle, equipped with his clever modifications, outmaneuvered every attack. He guided them through asteroid fields and across unstable atmospheres, relying on both instinct and knowledge. Arya, impressed by his skill, realized that this was no ordinary human. This was a mind capable of thinking like no alien could imagine, a human capable of turning weakness into strength. When they finally reached safe space, Arya looked at Kalen with admiration. "You did it," she said. "You saved me." Not pride, not arrogance, but the satisfaction of proving that intelligence, courage, and ingenuity could triumph where sheer force failed. The rescue was complete, but he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen what a single human student could do, and it would not forget easily. As the shuttle carried them home, Arya shared stories of her kingdom, the alliances, and the ongoing threats. Kalen listened, absorbing every detail, already thinking about how humans could contribute. This was more than a rescue. It was an opportunity to show that humans, with their adaptability and creativity, could make a difference on a galactic scale. For Kalen, the journey had begun with quiet study in a university, but it had led to courage, strategy, and the demonstration of human potential. He had faced the impossible and succeeded, proving that even the smallest, most overlooked human could change the fate of worlds. And as the stars stretched before them, he realized that this was only the first of many challenges where human ingenuity would shine, where humanity's greatest strength, its mind, would become its ultimate weapon. The stars streaked past Kalen's shuttle as it carried him and Princess Arya back toward her homeworld. The tension of the rescue had left him exhausted, yet a strange thrill coursed through him. He had faced impossible odds and succeeded. He had proven that humans, often underestimated, could overcome challenges that even the most seasoned soldiers could not. Arya sat across from him, her posture calm but her mind clearly racing. "Kalen," she said quietly, "what you did back there, it's not something anyone could have imagined. You need to understand something. The galaxy will hear of this. People will want to meet the human who saved a princess. You've shown courage, intelligence, and creativity. Qualities that many species, including ours, have long underestimated in humans. Not for fame, not for reward, but to prove that humanity could stand shoulder to shoulder with the greatest civilizations of the stars." When they finally arrived at Arya's planet, the reception was unlike anything Kalen had ever seen. Ships from distant systems lined the orbit, and banners of the royal house fluttered in the artificial wind fields around the landing platform. Crowds had gathered, cheering not just for Arya's return, but for the human who had made it possible. Kalen felt a mix of embarrassment and pride. He had not done this for applause, yet the recognition was impossible to avoid. The royal court welcomed them with pomp and ceremony. Arya introduced Kalen to her advisors, generals, and diplomats. They were impressed, some skeptical at first, that a single human student could outwit Zarak's forces. But Arya's insistence, paired with the evidence of his clever devices and strategies, silenced any doubt. "You've done more than rescue a princess," Arya declared during the formal audience. "You've reminded us that ingenuity, courage, and quick thinking can achieve what armies cannot. This human embodies the spirit of problem-solving that we must celebrate and learn from." Over the following days, Kalen worked closely with Arya and her advisors. He shared his methods for stealth, strategy, and improvisation. Alien officers listened, some skeptical at first, but gradually they began to see the genius behind his simple devices. His solutions were elegant and efficient, relying not on sheer force, but on careful observation and clever manipulation of environments. Kalen also worked to educate the humans who had accompanied him in minor ways. engineers, mechanics, and other students who were eager to see the galaxy in action. Together, they began to design devices that could help human forces across different planets, using minimal resources but achieving maximum effect. Humans had always adapted to challenges, and now their skills were being recognized as invaluable. Meanwhile, Zarak's forces were in disarray. News of Kalen's success spread quickly, and alien factions that had once feared Zarak began to reconsider their alliances. The warlord's reputation suffered, and the perception of human capability grew. Small human contingents, inspired by Kalen, began to participate in interstellar operations that had previously seemed impossible. Despite the attention and praise, Kalen remained humble. He knew that recognition was temporary and that the galaxy would face more challenges. Yet he also realized that this moment was a turning point. Humans were no longer merely observers in a universe dominated by ancient civilizations and powerful empires. They were contributors, innovators, and problem solvers whose potential could not be ignored. Princess Arya, meanwhile, did not merely celebrate Kalen. She saw in him a visionary mind, a force capable of reshaping strategies across civilizations. She offered him a position as an advisor, someone who could teach not just humans but all species to approach problems with creativity and intelligence. Kalen accepted, not out of ambition, but out of a desire to continue proving that human ingenuity mattered. The following months were filled with travel across star systems. Kalen demonstrated human-designed strategies in simulations, teaching both humans and aliens the value of thinking differently. In one instance, he helped a fleet navigate a treacherous asteroid field where traditional sensors failed. Using techniques inspired by old human cartography and his knowledge of physics, he guided ships safely, earning accolades and admiration. Another time, he devised a communication network that allowed planets to share intelligence quickly without relying on vulnerable central hubs. His designs were simple but highly effective, and they became standard across several allied systems. Humans, previously considered weak and inexperienced, were now recognized for their adaptability and innovation. Amid these achievements, Kalen and Arya developed a mutual respect that deepened over time. Arya was not only a princess, but also a leader who understood strategy and diplomacy. She appreciated Kalen's clarity of thought, his ability to remain calm under pressure, and his insistence on ethical solutions. Their partnership symbolized a new era, one where humans could stand as equals among the galaxy's finest. Kalen also took time to mentor young humans, demonstrating that heroism was not only about daring deeds, but about preparation, intelligence, and perseverance. He encouraged them to explore the universe with curiosity and courage, to never underestimate their own potential, and to always think creatively when faced with impossible odds. Word of Kalen's accomplishments spread beyond Arya's kingdom. Diplomats, leaders, and scholars requested his counsel. He became a symbol of human potential, showing that a single individual armed with intellect and determination could influence the galaxy in ways that no conventional force could. Yet Kalen remained grounded. He never sought glory, never let praise distract him from his mission. He continued to work, to innovate, and to teach. The galaxy saw him as a hero, but he saw himself as a student still learning, still striving to demonstrate that humans, underestimated though they may be, could rise to any challenge. The story of his rescue and the recognition that followed became legendary. In libraries and academies across star systems, humans were celebrated not for raw power, but for strategy, creativity, and bravery. Kalen's actions inspired a generation to believe in the extraordinary potential of humanity. When Kalen looked out at the stars from Arya's palace balcony, he felt a profound sense of connection. He was a small human among countless species, yet he had altered the course of events. Humans would never again be dismissed as insignificant. They had proven that cleverness, courage, and perseverance could overcome even the most formidable foes. Arya joined him, her presence calm and reassuring. "You've changed everything," she said. "Not just for humans, but for the entire galaxy. You've reminded us that intelligence, courage, and determination matter more than size or strength." The galaxy had witnessed a new kind of heroism, one rooted in human qualities that could never be replicated by sheer force. And in that moment, he understood that this was just the beginning. Humanity had many more challenges to face, and Kalen would be at the forefront, proving time and again that even the most underestimated beings could shape the fate of worlds. As the stars twinkled above them, Kalen felt the weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. Humans had finally shown what they were capable of, and the universe had taken notice. From a quiet student to a symbol of human ingenuity, Kalen's journey was far from over. He would continue to inspire, to innovate, and to lead, ensuring that humanity's place among the stars was secure, and that their extraordinary potential would never be underestimated again. The galaxy, once indifferent to humans, now watched them closely. Ships bore human engineers, strategists, and explorers to distant worlds. Plans and innovations conceived by human minds spread across star systems. Kalen's rescue of Princess Arya had sparked a chain reaction, a demonstration of the power of intellect, courage, and creativity. Even Zarak, once feared as invincible, reconsidered his assumptions. Humans were no longer weak prey. They were problem solvers, capable of outthinking and outmaneuvering his forces. And while Kalen did not seek conflict, the knowledge that humanity could stand against the strongest opponents became a new source of respect and fear. Kalen had achieved what no one thought possible, and as he looked toward the stars, he knew that the adventure of proving human potential had only just begun.